Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. Today is Monday, the 19th of November, 2018. A couple things first of all before we get started in today's video. I had to laugh when I put up yesterday's video. Within 100 views it was demonetized because it was about, skinning a deer. They did give it back because there's nothing bad in that, obviously, but it's amazing to me the games that are played sometimes of what they do with YouTube. But so today, a little milder today. It literally snowed all day long yesterday, so I had come out and cleaned the panels off this morning, and they actually had like a layer of ice on them. So I cleaned them off as best I could. I'm not going to scrape it when there's ice on there, because when the ice is there, it'll melt off once the panels heat up, as long as you get that layer of snow off. So got the layer of snow off, and then it melted pretty quickly after that. Much milder today. It's in the 30s, so it's like maybe 36 degrees today, something like that. So anyhow, a couple information updates. I changed my biller on my website. I'm no longer using Authorize. I am using PayPal. You can still use a credit card and stuff like that with PayPal. It just makes it easier for people with using PayPal as opposed to using Authorize. So I am no longer using Authorize. I'm only using PayPal. So that's just an FYI. What else? So a couple people have asked about larger sizes on shirts. We can do that, so I just got an email from somebody. I have to talk to. I got a reply. I haven't gotten back to anybody either on the winters yet. I had last couple days I was like going on no sleep. I actually caught up last night, and I just had a couple really bad nights sleeping, so it was not a whole lot of fun. My schedule's all whacked, so that's kind of how it goes sometimes. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the wildfires in California today. That was actually going to be the topic of this video, the wildfire, what's going on and why. And there's a lot of speculation that one of the causes of the wildfires is that they set them themselves, people in the state, the government meaning, because they're not getting federal funding because of the fact of all the sanctuary cities in California where they're keeping all the illegal immigrants and and not turning them back over and stuff like that. So the federal government stopped federal funding, and with the wildfires they'll get emergency funding, and so that's one of the reasons why. And I just like I said, there is a lot of speculation. I definitely want to hear what you guys think the cause is. I think that could definitely be part of the reasons. Of fires are way worse this year than they have been before. One of the problems that I think in my opinion, is poor forest management, not clearing out the dead wood and stuff like that. And when you're dealing with a lot of pines and stuff like that, and when those fall down, you got to clean that out of there, because that's just a fire waiting to happen. Especially pine. Pine burns up way easy. So those are things that need to be thought about. They got to handle that better. And somebody had said the reason they weren't because of some owl or whatever. How'd that work out for them? Because everything's burnt to the ground. So it's a crazy situation. There's also talk that the path of these fires are in direct relation with where they want to put this train, this billion-dollar project for this train up through the state of California. So and if you look at where the fires are, it is exactly in that area, all the way up through where they want to put this commuter train. So it's interesting scenario to look at it that way too. The thing is, there's so many different things it could, and it could be a natural thing, which I doubt very much, but there's so many different ways, and you can speculate on what it's going to be. Now, one of the things that I did want to talk about, I was watching somebody's, another YouTuber's video about like the air quality and stuff like that, and with prepping and everything. And realistically, guys, when you are prepping, you need to prep for whatever region that you're in. And what do I mean by that? If you're in California and you have those threat of wildfires, I think it's really important that you have a lot of your preps underground, so that if a fire does come through, your stuff doesn't get burnt up. I think that, but you have to really look at what region you're in. Now, if you're in a flooding region, obviously you really don't want to have a lot of stuff underground, depending on how deep you put it down because of the flooding. So you might want to build some stuff up a lot higher to keep your preps. You know, maybe up on a, like what they do in Alaska, you know, to keep the bears away from like the different food and stuff like that. They build those things way up so that you know, they can keep things, their meat and everything like that, higher up in those areas. And I'm just watching the puppies. No. Hey. So, but that way, you know, if you build something like that, you can keep things well off the ground. So if there is that flooding, that those preps would be dry and usable. So, I mean, you know, again, it just really is specific to whatever area you're in. And those are things that I don't think a lot of people think about. I mean, I really don't. I mean, if you're in, obviously, Tornado Alley, again, you'd want to have a lot of your stuff underground in a safe area that is protected. And you'd want to have something underground anyway because of the fact of the, you know, tornadoes to begin with, because they can come in there and wreak some serious devastation to different parts of our country. So, you know, again, it's the region of what part of the country you live in. You need to think about that with your prepping and prep accordingly. I mean, obviously, here in the Northeast, you know, we have a lot of snow this time of year. And not normally this early, but we just, you know, it's one of those kind of years. So, but because of we deal with snow, obviously we have to deal with a lot more of warm weather gear, you know, hats and gloves and long johns and those type of things. So those are going to be things that we would be having stored up here. Normal people should obviously have them stored. I'm not normal, so that's why I'm saying normal people. You know, your everyday person should have those things as well, because if there is a power outage and they don't have a wood stove to keep warm, you know, if you have long johns and wool socks and all those type of things, your chances of survival obviously are going to be much greater. But I think a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people don't think about those things, and so they don't prepare in that way. Having wool blankets, a wool blanket is going to keep you much, much warmer than a regular blanket as well. So those are things that people really, truly do need to think about. I keep a wool blanket in the car at all times, especially, you know, having things prepared in that aspect, you know, having things in the car in case there's an emergency and we get, you know, stranded someplace, that we have enough gear that we can do what we need to do to get by in those situations. But, you know, prepping for whatever region that you're in is really, really important. And you have to, you know, like I said, if you live in Michigan, in the upper PI, you know, you are definitely going to be facing much colder weather than somebody down in South Carolina. So, I mean, even though it does get cold at times down in South Carolina, which is not really that cold, but, you know, for them it is because they're not used to it. So, you know, like with what we have here, I mean, this is, you know, it's no big deal. It's what we deal with. But I'm watching the puppies while I'm talking to you. They're over here banging around. But anyway, so that's, you know, kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Preparing for the area that you're in and looking at that situation, how are you going to do it? So, I mean, those are things to think about. Like I said, there's different parts of the country that different things happen all the time, year in and year out. I mean, you would think that with all the wildfires and stuff like that, that they would have things managed much better in California. But every year, it just continues to get worse and worse. And because of whatever reasons, they're not, you know, dealing with the woods the correct way. And they definitely need to change it. I was watching a video today. I was actually laughing and talking about somebody like being completely uncomfortable. It had Jerry Brown was sitting there with President Trump, and you could just see he just wished he was anywhere else but there. So it was actually pretty funny. I just kind of thought that, and it wasn't like President Trump was degrading him or belittling him, and because he wasn't. But you could just see that dude did not want to be. He would rather have been anywhere else. So I just kind of thought that was funny. But yeah, so, you know, we did the deer skinning video yesterday, and, you know, some people are into, you know, hunting and some people are not, and that's fine. But, you know, in an SHTF situation, you know, unfortunately, I truly believe, and I've said this before as well, the woods are going to get cleaned out pretty quick. there will be everybody and their brother's going to be out there in the woods banging away, and you know, that's what it's going to be like. And I don't think a lot of people realize. I'm just looking at them. You know how bad it's going to truly be, and how fast the game will be depleted. Hey, come on, pups. Sorry, guys. Still have to babysit. Come on, babies. Let's go. Come on, babies. Oh, here we go. There we go. There's your babies. They're such good dogs. They will be 7 months old on the 29th. So they got a long way to grow yet. But they have a really good time together. Really do. So anyway, guys, I definitely want to hear your feedback on the video. I want to hear what you think about the whole California situation with the wildfires, and I definitely want to hear what you think about regionally prepping for whatever area you're in, and preparing for those type of areas. I mean, if I'm in California, I definitely going to have some kind of gas mask with a respirator of some sort, especially with the wildfires and the air quality and stuff like that. Okay, but you know, that's something to think about. So anyway, guys, remember, oh, and you know what I did not say again in the beginning of this video, and I'm going to say it now. We are all in this together. I forgot to say it in the beginning, and I apologize. I'll get it. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to remember to say it, and it's like I am and I'm not. So, but anyway, we are all in this together. I think a lot of people don't realize that. The more people that we can get prepping, that less people that you're going to have worrying about trying to take your stuff. So, but you know, think about that, and it's important. Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. Life is very, very short, and tomorrow is not guaranteed. So, you know, truly remember that. And remember STD, guys. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself, okay? So, anyway, I will jump off of here for now. I will talk to you all later. I hope everybody's doing well. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.